Remove. Hello, everyone.
You hear me okay? Rain,
Yeah, I can hear
you
you.
hear me? Okay, good.
I can.
Sorry, okay. Sorry I'm late.
You're all right. You're
Uh,
you're good. You're good. Hello, Haley. Hi, Boomy. Hey, Chris. Hi, Roger. I hope everyone is having a
Emma.
good evening. I know you seem like you're just kind of frustrated right now.
Oh, me? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm going 100 miles an hour. I'm trying to, I got
Yeah,
so
and you're going
much.
100 miles an hour, it makes everything hard to do. And if you've got to concentrate on something, yeah,
Yeah.
it's hard to do.
Especially when it's not going my way, going the right way
Yeah,
either. And
I get
also,
that.
yeah, it's just everything's so much. It's date time. You know how it is. You have to do this by this point, though. At this point, by this point, and if you don't, you can get in trouble. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm into that situation right now. So, yeah.
Yes. Okay, so tonight we actually are starting in Aries, which is what I am.
Oh Lord,
I know, right?
that explains a lot now. Okay, keep going ahead. Go ahead.
My first thing we're going to do over the chessboard killer. He is actually a Russian who just had all kinds of issues growing up, which I'll come into. But he decided to he learned to play chess very well.
Well, most Russians are really good chess players. Actually, I
That
mean,
is true. That is true.
they're
That is
very
true.
good chess players. Um. So,
Oh, hey, mom.
okay. So when did this happen? Round about when did this taken was this taking place? At it
My
sounds kind of
God.
familiar.
It's two. I
Hey,
want
mom.
to say 1992. So I would have been like beginning of high school, like mid in between, like
I
in
was
high school.
I was in what
So it was like
second
92. Yeah, it was like 92. So I was like,
eighth grade.
that's for I don't even.
I was no. Um. I think I was in.
Well, that's why I said like middle school,
I was in middle
high
school.
school. I was in high school by then, but yeah, it's um, it's a lot of this thing because this he when it comes down to, I was looking this up, and about the time that he started doing his murders,
Hmm.
the other guy, the other Russian that was killing that I talked about. I have it on here somewhere, so I'll have to go ahead and when I do read it, he
Um.
actually looked up to him and to doing killing. He wanted to kill more people than he did.
1992. I was selling coke. Oh,
Oh my god. Okay, babe.
yeah, yeah. But me, yeah, you're an old man. Yeah.
He's 2 years older than me, so
Oh, I thought he was old. I thought he was older than that.
yeah. So if I'm only a year older than you, so he's 3 years older than you.
So this
He's
guy was he a copycat
no,
basically?
no. He isn't actually. I was just gonna say he isn't a copycat. He was just like the other guy inspired him. This guy
Oh,
was born. He was born 2 day. He was born the same year as Boomy. He was born April 9th, 1974. So he will be 49 at the end of in
yeah.
April.
I was gonna say yeah. He's 4 years older than me.
Yeah, I was gonna say I wasn't sure 3 or 4. So Boomy's going to be that age at the end of this month.
I was born in '78, so
Yeah, you're the same age as my brother is.
I'll be 45 in June. So
Yeah, you're still young.
not that young, but yeah.
Hi,
Um.
grassy ass.
So okay, so this guy idolized him, essentially. Now, did
Yeah,
he?
like he looked at like something to do maybe because he was another Russian killer. So you know what? If he's a big Russian killer, I want to be up there with him. I and that's the thing with Aries. It's a competition. Like randomly, but I'm not like that. Like I don't like competition. I don't. If I feel like I have to compete, I won't do it.
Uh, uh, no, I mean, I just wondering how is it? I mean, he just randomly just picked this guy, uh, and then all of a sudden he's like, "Well, heck, I want to start killing." I mean, did he have mental problems or anything like that? Was he
Well, and
young?
that's what we'll get. We'll start off. He so of course he was born in Moscow, Russia.
Okay. Well,
He lived with his mom and younger half sister and her husband and their son in a two-bedroom apartment on the fifth floor of their apartment building.
mhm.
And to come to the really funny thing is this whole thing is he was literally 6 minutes a walk away from the Bitsa park that he was committing these murders in. So literally, he'd commit murder and go right home.
Well, and the thing is, so if you think about it, that's actually pretty smart because a lot of them like to tend to visit their site. You know,
And he got to all the time because
exactly.
that's where he played chess. That's where
Right.
everything just became. Okay, yeah, that's Bitsa Park. It's its nickname for Bitsa Sky Park. It consists of 2,700 acres of yeah. So not it's not just a park. It also had woods, but
Yeah.
locals describe the area near the park as a bad neighborhood. Again, there you go is another thing.
Yeah.
It part of its unknown assailant, dubbed the Bits. He was also not just the chessboard. Before he was known to be known as the chessboard killer, he was known as Bitsa Park Maniac
Okay.
because they didn't. That was what they didn't have no idea it was related to anything chessboard until he was caught.
Hmm.
The easy access to the park and the homeless people who lived around it are two reasons why Alex said he chose it as his hunting ground. And sorry, the guy's name is Alexander Bikashushikin.
Yeah. Try saying that.
All right.
Now, okay. All right. So, okay. So we got one. He didn't have a dad. It was just him and his mom, right?
And his sister, yeah.
So he didn't have a father figure. Which that's really turning up a lot. Where a lot of these killers you've been talking about, a
One way
lot of
or
them don't.
another, something's wrong, something's missing in their life.
Either their dad's gone or their mom's gone. One
Yeah,
of the two. And
absolutely.
so I mean that's really growing to be a pattern. But I guess it's because they just don't have that stable environment and everything else. So I mean, uh, wow. I mean, it's almost he created basically the perfect storm.
He did, but um a lot of to with Alex when he was, I want to say, around the age of 4, had a very bad accident, which is why the doctors, he's had issues after he was 4. He fell off of a swing, and the swing, because of those old days swings, that swing and the chain smacked him in his frontal part of his brain, which did really bad damage, and also is it's called frontal lobe cortex of his brain. Such damage is known to produce poor impulse regulations and tendencies toward aggression. So because of it, he became aggressive and didn't know how to handle his anger because of this being hit there. Because when that young of an age gets
Mhm.
smacked there, and it does damage to the brain, and apparently the doctors apparently didn't do much for him then either. That's what I'm assuming. that his parents were, or his mom was, couldn't afford for him to get anything done, if that makes any sense.
Well, I mean, it sounds yeah. I mean, it could have it scrambled his brains a little bit. Sounds like when he hit. I was wondering when you said accident. I was like, head injury had to be.
Yeah, and it really is. They said he had, even as it grew up, his mom, um, compared to adults, obviously, yeah, after the accident, he frequently became hostile and impulsive. Due to his behavior, mom decided to transfer him from a main school to a child with learning disabilities. So again, he was outcasted because of the accident to be put
Yeah.
in a school with children with disabilities, and he was bullied because of this.
Well, I mean,
And I can't, I don't want to think, but this is one of the things that he mentions, that because it's a big deal for a lot of saying it here, but apparently he was called that retard all the time.
yeah. Well, I mean, that's what it's been used a lot. But
Yeah, which is why like some people get offended with saying those words and whatnot.
right, and it's just like the word. It's just anyway. That's beside the point. But
Right,
um. So wow. So okay. So he had a traumatic head injury, scrambled his brains basically, pretty much a little bit. Uh, and then of course the abuse from the kids.
right,
Which that he already had anger issues before that. Um,
yeah,
and then of course, that type of country they don't really a lot of them types of country they don't deal with like the disabled very well and all that. It's you know because to them they're pretty much useless. They can't work for they can't work or anything. Yeah, they try to do they try to do stuff, but they don't do not like here. They don't do it like here.
yeah.
Uh,
Russia is very
well,
very different in a lot of their their
it's
prisons are even way different from here. If
well,
you
yeah,
think they think punishment is bad here for prisons, go to Russia. It's twice as bad in Russia than it is here. They've got it easy here compared to there. But then again, Grandpa, his mom's dad, um, took into looking up to Alex and saying, "Look, he's not a dumb kid. He's got Alex. He's very highly intelligent. He has talents, but they're getting wasted because he's in this disability thing for learning, and that's all they're caring about." He wanted Alex to enjoy, find some other hobby, which is where the chess game comes into play, that he learns to do because he finds something else to do.
yeah.
Um, so his grandfather encouraged him to do it. So, and then he said his deepest interest was chess. He was taught how to play, and after demonstrating his ability, he was introduced to exhibit. So he was actually able to play against the elderly men who were really good at playing these kind of games, which isn't usual for a younger one to play with the older ones when it comes to the game. But
Mhm.
he got to do that. Which another thing, and this is where all the leads into whatever. And oh, here, well, this is a fantasy. Here we go.
Well, I mean, it's
Nah, you're funny, Josh.
hey Foxy. So,
Hey,
jeez.
Foxy.
Okay, so
Okay, I got a noisy ass cat, and I'm sorry for all y'all have to hear her. She's still loud. Bella. Yeah. Shh.
God, Lord have mercy with that cat.
I know, right? And did that. Bella, quit.
Stick a sock in it.
I'm gonna throw something at her here in a minute. Quit.
Oh, so I mean, yeah, definitely because the older ones they've been playing for like years, probably since his age up to where they're at now. So
Oh
they
yeah,
have a lot of
absolutely,
years and experience in
absolutely.
it.
To
And
have that kind of experience to play with them, yeah.
yeah, well, to actually keep up with them and remotely beat them.
And to this is thing because of this, he actually found a channel for his aggression when dominating the chessboard in all of his games. However, he continued to be bullied by mainstream children, and that's probably because he's playing chess with the old guys. You know what I mean? But you know what? In all honesty, that's respect because when you're young and are able to play with the elderly, that's respect. You know, so
Oh yeah.
technically, those kids making fun of him had no right making fun of him. That they were
Well,
getting. He was actually in better position than what
well,
they were.
yeah, yes, but like most kids, all it is because of that one thing. He was in a disability class. That's
Yeah,
all they were
and I
picking
think
on
that's
for.
just it. And when
They
they
don't
want to pick up
care.
on, yeah,
They don't care if he's a straight A student or he's a genius or he was the best chess player or he could play chess and a violin at the exact same time.
it's
They don't care.
because yeah, it's because
All
he was in
because
that,
it's
and because he was in that disability class.
right.
Exactly.
And it's sad. That is sad. So I mean, that's and here again. I mean, if you think about it, all right, we got a guy
Thank
that's a
you,
kill.
kiddo.
We got a guy that's a killer. No dad. Common thing with a second. They were abused somehow, some way, either by a parent or or school kids. And it's so again, that's it's definitely every one of them's coming up with a common theme.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people assume that being bullying or being bullied, I should say, doesn't impact you.
Oh, it
My
more
my
than
mom my mom used to be like that with me. She's like, rah, 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 rah. It's no big deal. Okay, you try to be bullied every day for how many hours during that day and can't get away from that kid.
right. And
It starts to impact your brain when you hear the same thing over and over. And I was bad until I got into high school away from them.
right. And, no, and it doesn't not always. I mean, it doesn't. It really affects you two ways. Either you're gonna do what they're doing, or you're gonna do the other thing. And
Right.
you know, so I mean, it, it is. It's really getting to be a common theme.
It ends up being bad though. And
Yeah.
then like I said, and then like probably around 15, 16, 17, he loses his grandfather. And that's a major blow for him
Maybe.
because grandpa was the one carrying and giving him, encouraging him to do something good with his life. And then when grandpa dies, it just that
Well,
I'm done. It
well.
just, yeah.
So his grandfather, after his grandfather died, that's when things went to really worse. Then. So
Yeah, and
okay.
that's when, yeah, and not long after that is when,
So
which
that
is where I complain.
he lost that male figure that basically he was taking the place of the father. He replaced the father figure, to that older figure. So he lost it, and that's too bad.
Thanks, Vinny. Phew.
Bless you.
Well, I've been doing that a
Now,
lot.
so how old was he when he started? How old was he when he started doing
Well,
this?
that's I will get into that thing because he must have been like, I want to say maybe 14, 15, maybe. And then, like I said, after his grandfather died, he started drinking vodka. And unlike the elders, he would be able to continue play without being greatly affected by the alcohol. And this is where he ended up developing a more sinister hobby at that time, unknown to anyone. Um, he also, like, for one instance, there's if he knew he was going to come in contact with these kids, he had a video camera, and on one occasion, he held a young child, by upside down by one of his legs, and said, "You are in my power now. I'm going to drop you from the window, and you will fall 15 meters or 4 stories to your death." So he was telling this young kid this. He then watched these videos repeatedly to reaffirm his power. But however, by 1992, it wasn't doing him. It wasn't enough.
It wasn't. Yeah.
Um, that same year, 1992, when he was 18. So okay, he was 18, and then um, he arranged to meet his classmate Mikkel. It's like one of his best friends. Apparently, talked about a hatch a plan. What's kills? I wanted to kill 64 people, which there's 64 spaces on a chessboard. If you didn't know that.
Hmm.
So automatically his killing was going to be based up on how many thing. But however, when um apparently his best friend changed his mind, and feeling teased by his best friend, he pulled a hammer out of his bag and delivered 20 blows to his BF's head.
Wow.
Yeah. So that was his first killing, was killing his best friend.
Wow. All because he just.
He didn't want no part of it. He decided, I don't want to be killing nobody.
Yeah. Wow.
I didn't do nothing to my hair, Vinny. Actually, this is my natural. I have natural wave in my hair, and I haven't dyed my hair for a minute. So obviously, it's why my hair's as dark as it is.
Now. Wow. So, I mean, and the thing is, though, that's pretty. I mean, to be your best friend is your first one.
That is kind of
Ah.
weird. I'm wondering if YouTube really isn't doing that to certain people, unmodding them and stuff again. Because I know I gave mod to him.
So okay. So he didn't. Yeah, I was wondering if he started with animals or anything like that, but he
No,
didn't. He went
he did
straight
it.
to the.
This that's just it. Like I said, with him having that accident with the frontal lobe. But also I have read too. Besides his aggressiveness, Aries are a random. I'm going to do something. I'm going to do it now.
They're so bad.
It is a one of those. If I don't
They,
do it now, I won't do it. Um, and it doesn't surprise me that he used a hammer, just because it's like. But to think about, for me, I couldn't, because you think about it, how hard you have to hit somebody in the head with a hammer to kill them.
well, not really.
Well,
So
yeah, I know what you're saying. Depends
I
though.
mean,
If he's for real hitting the head and not the face, and I'm not saying that, but for real hitting someone in the head, which is what he was doing, um, he was putting holes in
oh
these
yeah,
people's heads, and then he would literally, and there's been talked about it, that he would leave the alcohol vodka bottles and leave them in the hole of that person's head. Like
yeah,
he
that's,
didn't care. Like I in and this time he deposited his friends, excuse me, near a sewer entrance, and then returned to his mom's apartment. So that's what he started using, was using the nearby sewage works.
but
And then it said after 4 years, he began to leave the bodies where they died, right out in the open, along pathways and other areas
yeah,
of Bitsa Park, or in the stream that ran through the park. So he started being, whatever, I'm just going to leave them here.
right now. The thing though, here, what gets
Hi,
me,
Nick.
he pulled the hammer out of his backpack. It was almost like that was pretty much meditated then.
He already knew what he was going to use. Yeah,
What?
exactly,
Well, I
exactly.
mean, he knew what he had, and he knew who was. It's like he already knew he was going to kill his best friend. Automatic. It's like he had the hammer. He was ready.
Well, they was going to kill whoever, but if his best friend wasn't going along with him, he's like, "Well, shit, I got my best friend right here. Why not? Let's do this." But I'm just thinking. I did find it. 1992. That what I was talking about. The same year, police convicted Russian citizen Andrei, the Rostov Ripper. That's who he was looking up to, of mutilating and killing 52 people. At the time, Andrei, known as the Rostovo Ripper, was Russia's most notorious serial killer. This is why he was looking like, I want to be as badass as he is him.
Well, it sounds like that guy did some pretty gruesome stuff. I mean, he
Oh yeah,
mutilated them. So
Yeah, I just not did Andre not too long ago actually. So yeah,
I think
like
I missed that one. Sorry.
no, it happens. It does. But yeah, Andre was for real. He did some nasty shit too. Um, and then like this, and then said Alex said he dreamed of surpassing Andre and intended to kill 64 people, equaling the squares on a chessboard. He never completed his chessboard murders, but he did confess to killing 61 people. But he still, if he did confess to killing 61 people, he still killed more than Andre did. Alex told authorities he first planned to kill. Oh, you're right. He did said he did plan on killing his best friend. Apparently.
Well, I mean, I was gonna say he had to because I mean, it was crazy. He had a hammer there, just random. He wouldn't just randomly have a hammer in his backpack unless he intended to use it on something. And the only person he was going to talk to that day
Oh
was
no,
his
no,
best
wait.
friend.
It said no first plan to kill with, but turned down a former classmate. Well, yeah, it's just like, well, same
Oh.
sense as what we were saying is, well, if you're not going to be with me, then I'm going to kill you.
Well, here's the thing though. It, when his friend said no, I'm not going to do it, his friend took the power from him.
Oh yeah, absolutely,
So
absolutely.
by killing him,
He took it
out
back.
he took the power back. So
Yeah,
yeah, that's it, basically all he was in it for was the power hungry, and like most bullied and abused, bullied victims. Yes, I'm gonna call them victims because they are a victim to bully. Um,
unfortunately.
uh, but they turn out to where they you know, they do that because when they're being bullied, they don't have power. The
Yeah,
power's taken is the bullies have the power. The one that's being bullied loses the power. So
absolutely.
later on, that's when they why they do what they do is because they like, wait a minute, I want that power. I don't want to be you know a weakling. I want the power, and and do that by killing. They're taking the powers from 'em.
Yeah,
So
and he even said in the reminder first when he was in courts, the first killing is like your first love. You never forget it, and that was his words.
well, a lot of them, and that is so true because a lot of them
Yeah,
they do remember that first one. They can't remember the ones in between sometimes, but that first one
but the first
is,
kill will be always be
oh yeah,
the one that they remember.
the
Yeah,
most. Oh
absolutely.
yes, definitely. I mean, well, not only just killing, but that's everything. Even uh, you know, Sorry if I'm say that, but bring this up to anybody that's ain't gone through. But even a rape when they rape somebody, same thing. Is it that first kill? They remember that first one because it was that's what got them in that first taste of I guess you could just say that first taste of blood. And it's just
Yeah, pretty much.
and they remember that taste, that first taste, and all
Yeah.
the others is just happens to be whatever's. But
Yeah. And of course, he was arrested later that month, but they couldn't pinpoint him as no evidence tying him to his friend's murder, so of course they let him go.
on that one, but they got him for the other 60 because he
Well,
confessed to
that's what I'm saying.
61.
No, no. So literally, they found his best friend like the next day, and he was arrested later that month or later that month
Oh, for that.
for
Okay, that
for that. But they didn't have no evidence tying him to that murder. There was no whatever
right.
for it, so they of course let him go.
Okay.
And then September of 1992, Alex was romantically rejected by Olga, a girl, his 18-year-old neighbor, apparently because she was already in a relationship with another guy. Um, and of course, the other guy that she was in a relationship was later discovered outside his apartment building. So he went and killed him.
Wow. So okay, there's another. Wow. There's another turn.
Rejection.
Rejection. Wow. So I mean, it's wow. There's a lot of psychological, um, from bullying, you know, family issues. Somebody's missing. A parent's missing in the family.
And then having the accident. Yeah, it
Had the
just.
accident. Had some sort of an accident, which some of them, a lot of them do. Bullying, being bullied, then uh, and then rejection. That's a lot.
But
Uh,
the
uh,
thing is with this one, because of how, how he, remember I told you how he said about the kid and I'll throw you out the window. Well, he
yeah.
pushed him out the window, and the cops considered it a suicide versus him killing him.
Well, yeah, because there was no proof.
Yep, yep. So
So
they convinced it as the guy committed suicide versus him killing him.
right, but now say you said he confessed to 61,
Yeah.
but
Well, I
doesn't
have it.
necessarily. But the thing is, though, it doesn't necessarily mean
Right.
he did get that
Um,
64. He only
well, I
confessed
forget
to
how many.
61.
Well, I think there is it that tells us how many he got, how many he was charged with.
Well, if he confessed to 61, then he should have been charged with 61.
Okay, it will get yeah. He got charged for 60 deaths, and three of his victims survived. So he still got charged with 60, which is
Oh.
still more than what Andre got charged for.
So, okay. All right. So he was charged with 60. He confessed to 61. Three victims survived. So that means he pretty much almost got his 64.
Yeah.
It's just those three didn't make it. I mean, didn't die. They survived. So, um, yeah. So he was.
And then he didn't get accused of the one that supposedly committed suicide, which would have been the 64.
Wow. So yeah. Well, like I said though, I'm wondering if there might be some more in there that they just, there's more than 64, or
Right.
definitely more than 61 for sure. But uh, because I mean, I don't know. Some I guess some do set once they set that certain number, they're going to stick to it. But then good and well, they're not.
Yeah. So but he ceased killing after that until 1996, when Russia placed a moratorium, a legal authorization postponed. So like on the death penalty. So they at this point they didn't have a death penalty. So and then after 96 that's when he started killing again. This reunited Alex's interest in killing. He didn't continue killing until 2001, when he reportedly made a list of acquaintances he tended to murder. The closer the person is to you, the more pleasant it is to kill them. It's more emotional.
Well, it's more personal. That's the
This-
thing, and that's what makes it worse. But you said there's no, they didn't have. Where's this at?
and this is in Russia.
And wait a minute, they don't have a death penalty?
Yeah, they actually at this time that's where they placed a moratorium, which is a legal authorization to postpone on the death penalty. So, like, if he was to get caught, he would just like now he's sitting in prison, and that's it, because there is no death penalty because of this being put there. A
So
lot of
basically,
places don't have the death penalty anymore because of this.
which I'm surprised because I mean, I hope we get this wrong, but Russia's a pretty ruthless
Oh
country,
yeah, absolutely.
and how they don't have a death penalty surprises me completely because
Well, they
uh,
used to up until then, and then the big stuff started coming through with injustice of the way that the kill an eye for an eye really isn't, um, which we've talked about before. It really isn't. It's so a lot of these countries are picking that up now and not killing them unless whatever's absolutely, you know.
well, to me, you killed 60 something people. That's pretty.
I know, Josh, right? Texas is one of the few that still has. Um,
Yeah, they did. They put
they're
actually put
the
an
few,
express on
one
it.
of the few, but we also know Texas is its own on its own, literally away from. They are different than the rest of the states. I know
Yeah.
some people know that, but a lot of people don't know
Hmm.
that.
Yeah, they are.
Um, they are totally different, is why they still have the death penalty and a lot of states don't. I still kind of find it kind of weird, whatever you want to say, but like when Timothy McVeigh died and did what he did to the, I want to say, is what state was it? Utah, the bombing in Utah that he got, that he ended up and he got lethal injection, but they sent him to Indiana here where I am to be lethal injection for him to die here in Indiana versus where it happened, because they didn't have nothing like
Well,
that there.
South Carolina, they actually just made it to where you have an option now. They actually got it to where you have an option. You can do uh injection, or you can do the chair, or now they have reinstated the firing squad. So now you can be shot. So
Yeah, a lot of that's like there's so many. Yeah, Oklahoma. See, yeah, you knew it. I was trying to think of what the state it was. It's just been so long ago. Was the Oklahoma bombing when he killed so many people. Like, they still think he had an accomplice, but he wasn't saying nobody else did it. He took the full blame for it, and they gave him a lethal injection here in Indiana. It was done here in Indiana where he was where he died.
yeah, they
I
we
watched it. That was a live
ouch.
broadcasting at like 7. It was like 7 o'clock in the morning. I remember watching it, and then by like 7, I want to 7 something, right after the dots, he was gone. So like it just, that was a live broadcast because of what he did.
Honestly, I think a lot of murders, a lot of stuff like that would end if they brought back um public execution.
Oh yeah, but I get that the public execution, like, or doing stuff instead of giving people, like, like just telling them, like, used to steal in some places, they still do it in other countries. You steal from them, they're chopping your hand off.
Well, yeah. Oh yeah. The Middle East is known for that. Um, but yeah, it did gets me though that I came up
Okay, I
with
wasn't sure if it was Terre Haute. Okay, yeah, it's Terre Haute. Yeah.
So they basically gave him a life sentence is what they gave him, basically.
Yeah, well, I'm still not done. Well, that to that, but another thing is how they knew he did a lot of these. He kept a notebook in his pocket at all time, which he sketched out on this. Each square had a date written in it that corresponded to each of his alleged murders. At the time of his arrest, the 33-year-old had filled in approximately 61 of the 64 squares on the chessboard. He admitted later that he completed the board, he would have continued to kill indefinitely.
Wow. So yeah, that's another thing is common is the ones that usually get caught are the ones that either keep a journal about it or they keep souvenirs.
Oh yeah, that's the bad. Like
Yeah.
it almost all killers in
Mhm.
some sense keep some sort of um, souvenir, which is why 9 times out of 10 why they're led back to that person and to killing them because they have something personal only they would have.
Right. And that's another thing is about um that's another thing that by taking that you took their life, but by taking the a souvenir or whatever you want to call it, that's like confirming that they have that power now. They took that power. They took their life and they took something else. They have that power and and control, and that's what they want. And I'm surprised that they didn't. I'm surprised he didn't go after the kids from school. Honestly, I'm surprised he didn't go after the classmates that made fun of him, abused him, and
Yeah,
um,
it's just probably it was
weapon
just
me.
easier to do with whatever. Like when he did this one, they said Alex was playing chess with a 52-year-old man, and at the end of the game, Alex invited him to walk with him, claiming it was an anniversary of his dog's death that he wanted to visit this grave in Bitsa Park. Now, this isn't something that he did quite frequently with his victims. Was oh look, let's go visit my dog's grave and go take them there. And it was away from probably where busy people where it was busy or whatever. I'm assuming. And then, of course, he would offer them vodka to drink. Um, he would toast him, and then he struck him in the head with the bottle. Once he was dead, Alex threw his body into a nearby well. It says, like, geez. And it says between May 2001 and September 2005, he attacked 36 victims. Three of his victims survived their injuries. He would approach his victim in bits apart, the vast majority of them elderly, homeless people. See, there's another, they were homeless and they were elderly. So they weren't going to fight back much.
Yeah. So okay. Yeah, here's the thing. Wow. Okay. So if you notice that the same another pattern is that uh so he picked the homeless and the elderly. So they were weak, just like he was weak, and the bullies picked on him.
Yep. And then he gave them, like I said, here, I'll give you alcohol and whatever. And, or a lot of times
Wow.
he would make them be drunken. So, when he'd hit them on the head, it would just hammer or a bottle.
Wow.
And said some of them, and I think this is the reason why some of them lived, is he literally would just hit them once or twice on the head with a hammer or the bottle or broke it over the head and then pushed them into the sewage canal hoping that they drowned, and they didn't. And then, like I was saying, his sign the corpse by impaling the victim's skull with sticks or with the empty vodka bottle.
Okay, so majority of the time he used. I mean, you know, those bottles are not thin. So the vodka bottles and all, they were pretty heavy. They had a good thick
Yeah, I was
base
gonna
on them.
say that would take a whap to whap somebody. You'd have to whap somebody hard.
Which, well, I mean, you could get that leverage and you could do it. I
Oh
mean, you
yeah,
could
I'm sure.
definitely.
If you, yeah, yeah.
But but yeah, the sticks and stuff like that. It's just not. It's definitely not going to be effective enough to do that. So
Like no, no,
obviously,
no. He didn't hit. He wasn't hitting him with a stick. He was killing him with either the hammer or the vodka bottle. But he was either sticking sticks in their holes of their head, or he
oh,
was sticking the bottles of the vodka in their head
why would okay? You put a hole in there and then you're
for
trying to.
whatever reason he thought necessary.
Yeah, well, I mean, look at his mind. How his mind was. I mean, that's just wow. To just sit there, you want to fill it.
Well, in that you think about it though, for somebody to kill that way is
Mm.
very, you know, they have to, they're going to suffer with that because how many times do you have to hit somebody over the head to kill them with a
Well,
hammer or with a bottle of vodka? I mean, come
well,
on, that isn't, you're not going to one or two blows and kill somebody.
well. Actually, no. You can a hammer.
Well, if you use the other end, yes. If you use the
No, I mean, no. I can take the round in, and I
yeah.
can. I could literally just one whack. I could put it through your skull.
True. If you
You,
hit, yeah, if you hit it, yeah, but you'd have to. I mean, that's a swing, and that for real would
well,
be.
well, not. I mean, you got to figure though. You got the weight of the hammer alone.
Who knows? Shit, whiskey bottles hurt. I know. I've had one of my best friends literally drop a beer bottle on top of my
Oh,
head, and it was a glass, and it made my head bleed.
okay.
Cut
You
me
know,
open.
you got to think of how much the hammer weighs. A hammer weighs a good bit. So you
That's
got that
true.
weight. So that adds momentum, just that alone, especially when you're coming downward. That's a lot of weight that's coming down.
Oh
So you
yeah,
just
yeah,
did that
yeah.
and then leverage. I can I could put a good whack. I could put a hole in your head, and that would be an instant kill. Or yes, you can use the claw and do it, and that would be an instant kill. I know it just also depends on where you hit them as well. But I guarantee the three that probably got away. I guarantee you, he probably used the bottle on them because yeah, it does. It takes a little bit more to. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, it does hurt. It can knock you out,
He could knock you out and whatever.
but
And he just thought they were dead when he knocked them out. And
right.
like I said, when he threw them in the canal, he was hoping they would drown. You know,
Well,
be
I mean, the skull's. I mean, it's thick, but it's not that thick. Um, I mean, I mean, look at the indentions that you put into a board, putting nails in. But um, I don't. It still gets me the putting filling the holes in after he puts the holes in. That's the thing.
well. And then yeah, and then it says from October 2005 to his final murder in 2006. Apparently, he would kill his victims by repeated blows to the head with a hammer, and then would push a vodka bottle into the gaping wound in their skull. He would always attack from behind in order to take the victim by surprise and avoid spilling blood on his own clothes. He also widened his range of victims, beginning to target young men, women, and children. 10 of his victims lived in the same four building complex where he lived, four from other ways. So yeah, it was next door to three. So yeah, he didn't. There was a lot of those people he was killing were actually neighbors and whatnot to him because, like I said, the building that he lived in was like a 5-story building, and that's a
Not
lot
far
of
from the
people in that building there.
and not far from the park.
Yeah, and not far from the park. But of course, this is where he a co-worker. This is where you do. This is where he screwed up. So June of 2006, he offered to go walk. to go for a walk with his 36-year-old coworker Marina. Though she was reported suspicious of him, she agreed to go. Before she left, she wrote a note to her son, letting him know she was with him, and left his phone number. Left Alex's phone number. Was aware of the note, but was undeterred. Like he knows she wrote him that, but he was like, "Whatever, I don't care."
Yeah.
Um, and then apparently, her body was discovered in the park later that month, with his trademark injuries. Moscow ticketed found her possession led authorities to reveal surveillance tape footage from the metro system where she was filmed just hours before her death walking on a platform accompanied by him. So there was no ands, ifs, or buts. They knew that he was the one that killed her.
Mm, sure.
Um, yeah, once he was apprehended, he led police officers to the scenes of many of his crimes in Bitsa and demonstrated a keen recollection of how the murders were committed. He was filmed reacting his crimes in great detail and process, which in regular part of Russia criminal investigations. So right there on the top of having great deal is another power. He was giving very detailed of how he killed these people and whatnot. So that would be another form of power, and even if since even after he got caught.
Yeah, actually, honestly, though, I think he could have got it. He could have got not prison, but long, long term, never get out again, asylum because mental place because I mean he was
Ugh.
good one. He was mental. I mean he could easily got mental. And, I mean he knew what he was doing, but he was crazy at that. So I mean, yeah, I think he could have got mental. And that again, that I think that's one reason. Even if they had the death penalty, they probably wouldn't have gave it to him because of that. I don't know. I mean, I know they probably wouldn't, but I mean, I don't know.
They probably didn't even, that's probably something they don't even look into because it isn't the yeah, the aggressive, yeah, it could be, but overall, that isn't the reason why he was killing. He was just killing because it there was just something in his brain, but it very well could be like, I mean, like you're saying, it could very well been with that accident. It could have triggered something else to, oh look, I want to kill because it's aggressive. It's to get out what he felt as a kid. You know what I mean? I'm gonna hurt somebody else because I had people hurt me.
Well, yeah. Well, that yeah, but also, I mean, like I said though, when he hit it, if he hit it hard in his head hard enough, it it probably scrambled his brain. But not this just hit me all of a sudden.
Huh.
He hit his head, right?
Uh-huh. He well
He,
he
in the
didn't
accident,
hit his head. Um he had he fell off the swing. So yeah,
right?
he hit his head.
Right.
But when he was getting to sit up, because and I know you know, like me, when we were kids, those swings are like the metal, and they weren't made out of the plastic stuff.
Right.
They were metal, and the metal chain smacked him in the head and cut him. Like it cracked. Like being a 4-year old, and like they were explaining with an adult, it your brain at 4 isn't, your skull isn't as hard as it is as
Right.
an adult. Okay, that's what
Right.
I want to say.
Right.
So that impact of the swing smacking him for real did brain damage. Um, but I'm by reading this, a lot of it. it doesn't seem like they really did anything for him, like, or didn't try to, you know what I mean, to try to correct any of that.
Hmm. Uh, but here's
Oh,
something
I
just
know, right?
the thing that hit me though. He hit his head. Okay, so what?
You're all right.
Um,
Hi, Nate.
so all right, so he hit his head. So how did he hit? How did he kill his victims?
He hit them with, he was hitting them with stuff.
But he hit them in the head,
Head, yeah.
and they hit him in the back, or he hit him in the front. Not sides, but the back and the front. Where did he get hit? The back and the front. That's just coincidence. I don't know. Um, I don't know. But I mean, that's just it's odd he did to them
Yeah,
what
you
happened
did.
to
Yeah,
him.
you made sense that that's exactly. I mean,
Wow.
and I also, like, I've done with a lot of. It's kind of weird, but as it says, is there Aries is very brutal with it comes to killing me, or a lot of them will use a gun. That's a big one for Aries for whatever reason. But you know what? It's funny because I said because we're a fire sign, so using a gun, it's a firearm, and or starting fires.
Oh, so you're a freaking arsonist.
Not me. I don't want no fire, no fire. But yeah, but I know, but there is some of them. I'm wondering if I'm going to come across one that does, because there is people that have committed murders in that sense because
Well,
they were trying to be a hero.
well, the thing is, or some actually just
Thank
did
you,
that.
Nate.
Well, um, some of the the arsonists they just killed, but then also, I mean, they like to burn, but a lot, some, of course, there are some that burned. They kill and then burn it, or or they would just knock them unconscious and then burn it to kill them. Or
Yeah, but that's the thing is, I see it so often in a lot of murders. They'll murder somebody and then try to burn the body, not thinking,
Mhm.
you know, just because they're burnt and not whatever doesn't mean they can't be identified. They can't. There's not something that, um, and I think that is the biggest. Well, if I burn it, it's there's not going to be nothing left. Well, that's not the case nine
well,
times out of 10.
when they burn it, it's like, well, not really making it where they. Sometimes it's not to where I deal, but a lot of them think that's what's they think by burning it they won't be able to ID the person. But no, I mean they still got the dental records and all that, and then yes, they can still get possible DNA out of that because they can go deep in there. So, but anyways,
Oh wow.
a
I'm
lot
just
of it.
reading this part of his complex. Um he said claimed that deciding his victims should live or die made him feel like a god. In all cases, killed for only one reason. I killed in order to live. Because when you kill, you want to live. He once said, for me, life without murder is like life without food for you. I felt like the father of all these people since it was me who opened the door for them to another world. Okay, you dude's got some crazy ass mind.
Well, well, well. Actually, I mean, literally, if you think about it,
Yeah, the God complex,
well, let's
being a
just.
murderer.
Well, no, the being control, controlling,
Oh yeah, the control. Yeah,
having
absolutely.
power, and he had the power and control of whether they lived or they died, and that's the best thing he could ever have in his mind. That's what um, because if you don't have power, you have nothing. So
Right.
so that's the thing. Is that if they and again it goes back to that bullying. that bullying. Those kids, they bullied him and they took his power away. They had control over him.
Which is like you said, is like sometimes when they murder people, they have that control.
Mhm.
They have some kind of control over something in their life. Um, a lot of people think, but in the thing like he just said, murdering it was his way. Like you said, maybe if he wouldn't have been teased for being put in a special class because of his disability, because I could only imagine how school was for him, being messing with the frontal lobe of your brain. Like, what does that all impact? Like what kind of disabilities did he have that he was having problems learning and whatnot? Because obviously, in other ideas, he wasn't totally stupid. Obviously, otherwise he
Oh,
would have never been able to play chess.
no, it was very smart. You pretty much you do have to be fairly smart to play chess
Oh
because
yeah,
it's a
absolutely. Think about it, because those chess moves are, you
very
got to strategize. That's using your
yes.
brain.
Well, I mean, you think about it. I mean, it's a very strategic game, and it's almost like art of war, really. You
Oh
you
yeah.
you're moving you're moving your you know your piece to where to be able to battle the next piece coming. So it's all definitely it's like but I don't know. But yeah, he was very smart, very genius. But yes, definitely if he hadn't have gotten bullied, if he hadn't got bullied and all that, it would yes that would have greatly well, I would say maybe not greatly, but that would definitely lessen his chances of
Yeah, lessen his
becoming what he
chances
is.
of trying to like
Right. But
get back at people for being bullied. But everybody takes differently to bullying, like you just said. It's either I am going to get back or I'm going to do something with my life rather than.
well,
But for him, I think it became the thing, like I said, because when he started doing this, the other Russian guy, Andre, was doing this. And he was a notorious serial killer. So, ooh, like I said, being an Aries for him probably just went, ooh, I want to be better than him. I want to be where he is. I want to be a notorious serial
mhm,
killer. And guess what? He is a notorious serial killer. He is well known. You say chessboard killer, and most people will know who you're talking about and whatnot. When you do stuff like that, it sticks with people.
yeah,
Like Andre's situation, like I never heard of him, but like other people have heard of the chessboard killer. Um, there also was too, after he was imprisoned, um, to where he was a. I don't say that. I don't ever say it right. And no, mom was yelling at me the other night trying to say Cerubian. Though the woman, there was a Cerubian woman who um, contacted him and actually found that she wanted to be with him and married him. So she's with him, but they apparently agreed that she can sleep with other men so she can have kids.
yeah.
I'm just like, what the
I mean that's
because they knew
I mean
he.
it's not uncommon though. It's
It
not
isn't,
uncommon.
and she she's got him tattooed somewhere on
Hmm.
on her arm. She's got him, and then she's got a chessboard
Yeah, I mean
on
again,
on her. Yeah.
it's not uncommon. But um, but yeah, everything is all about
Exactly, Josh. It's a mind game. It really is.
everything
You,
in.
you have it's like using your brain. That's a different part of using your brain. So like
Mhm.
that's what I'm like thinking, I'm trying to like frontal lobe, like what was he having problems with, like that made him maybe slow in learning or maybe even writing
Well,
could have been a big.
I'm surprised he didn't have seizures because usually that the
Well,
part
they
in the
didn't
very
say
front,
that because that's what I'm kind of. That was my thought too. Is
because usually the front, right in the very front of the
yeah.
forehead, that's where a lot of the part times that's where the seizures are. Um,
Oh
but
yeah.
but what I was saying back, what I was saying
Pumping
about
out the hole.
um, yeah, um, going back to what I was saying about the control. It is everything about these murders is nothing but control. And it's
Yeah.
always about there's always had a bullying at some point in their younger part of their lives. And and yes, bullying does affect you. And you're either gonna do it you got two ways you're gonna handle it. And but the thing is though, both ways gives them power back. Um, because whether they choose to go and kill somebody, kill people, that's taking their power away from them, and they're getting power back and
Mm-hmm.
control. Now, if they choose to do the suicide rate, suicidal way, that again gives them power and control because they're choosing whether to themselves to live or die, or to um, put up with it. And the people that are bullying don't have that control at that time. So again, it's always everything's about control and power. So it's
Yeah. Okay. So I looked. Um, he was on October 24th in 2007. So he only got convicted of 49 murders
wow. Okay.
and 3 attempted murders. Um, the funny thing is, I've never heard this. Was kind of a funny. He asked a Russian court to add an additional 11 victims to his body account, bringing his claimed death toll to 60, and then the 3 victims. It was like, hey, you can't forget my other 11 victims. I
Oh,
did kill these other people that you're not. And it could have been that they didn't have evidence enough or found enough whatever too.
wait.
Like I said, the guy that they automatically assumed was suicide, nobody was witness to. He pushed him out the window.
Right. But no, here's the thing. Here's the thing though. Okay, so 49, right?
Yep. Plus the 3 that lived.
Okay, but here's the thing. They charged him with 49 deaths. How many deaths did the other guy have?
52.
That's why. He wanted to be above him. He wanted to be
Yep.
better than him. That's why he said throw the 11. He wanted to either be over him by a little bit or just crush his total. He wanted, so that's why he said throw those 11 in, because he did not want to come in second place. He didn't want to come in below him. Why? Because guess what?
Technically,
Hmm?
he would have been those 3 that survived. If they would have died, that would have made him even with him.
Wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. No, because he
No, no,
killed
look, he got convicted of 49,
right?
but that's not including the 3 extra victims that he tried to kill. So it
Right.
would have made him even with Andre.
Wait a minute. You said no. Wait a minute. Though Audrey killed how many?
52.
All right, no, because you got to
And
think about.
49, he got connected 49, and then 1, 2, 3, so 49, 50, 52. He would have
Oh,
been
right,
even if
right.
those 3 people that he attempted to kill actually died.
Oh, okay, okay. But that's why he put the 11 in there, because it made him past
Yep.
that. It put him over that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And the
yeah.
funny thing is, even during his trial, apparently they had him in a glass cage for his own protection.
Wow.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
then
yeah.
then
49 is a lot, really.
yeah, and then get this, I've never heard this. The judge, his first 15 years, the judge sentenced him to solitary confinement.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's
Apparently
wow, solitary confinement. Wow, for 15
15 years.
years? Holy crap. That's like, wow. Most people don't even make it a week in solitary confinement
And he has
because
15 years to stay there. They don't want him because of his aggravation. I am guarantee you it is why they want him there. So it
mm,
doesn't
mm,
really
mm.
say
That boy was
well, he's
really
got because he wants a rejection of 25 years, but it doesn't say how many years he actually got. So obviously, it's way more than 25 years, which would consider for his normal life expectancy, he's going to die in prison.
well, yeah, but I mean, think about wow. He came out screwed up more being 15 years in solitary confinement.
Oh yeah, because when you're alone, that's a whole
Eh,
nother level of
right, and
yeah,
I guarantee you, their solitary confinement is
way worse than
wow.
what we can think of. Oh yeah,
It's
absolutely.
worse than our confinement.
Oh
Theirs,
yeah.
I guarantee you, is nothing but a dark room and everything.
Yeah, Josh, I agree with you. Like some of these people, like they're even the people that sit on death row sit there for years.
Oh yeah.
Um, there is I forget what the guy is that his crimes were so heinous of that like they've talked about like everywhere he goes he's in handcuffs and he's in shackles even just to take him out to for his hour outside time. He isn't like this guy, and he's constantly like this with them. But like you said, why do they keep them on death row for? There's people that I think like the longest was 30 some years, and he just died of natural causes. What the hell is the point of putting him on death row if they're just gonna sit there?
Exactly. Well, I mean, that's exactly why Texas put, like he said, they
The
put that
express lane, yeah,
express line
right.
because, well, the problem was is people complained about it. They complained because they said this is ridiculous. We're paying them to be on death
To
for
sit there, yeah,
years
to sit there,
just
yeah.
to die. No, at some point, just like no, 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 no. They get sentenced to life. They're executed. It's cheap. Yes, it's kind of expensive to execute them, but guess what? I guarantee it's a lot cheaper to execute them than it is to sit there and let
Then
them suffer for
feeding then
years.
yeah, then feeding them 3 meals a day. I mean, you think about it.
Well, you got to figure.
But you know what? They get more, and that's what people don't understand is I hate saying it, but it's so true. Is prisons treat people trees? Yeah, prisons. The prisoners there get treated better 9 times out of 10 better than the elderly do at a nursing facility.
Well, I mean, they're getting 3 square meal.
They
They're
get three
getting
square meals that are hot every day. They get showers. They
TVs.
get outside time. They've got phone calls.
They got
As long as they've
TV.
got good behavior, they get all that
Well,
plus some.
but the thing is, though, I mean, you got to figure between, you know, well,
Oh yeah, absolutely.
doesn't always make big money. Sometimes it's more
Take
expensive
care,
to,
sir.
but some of them are becoming privately owned.
Good to
Um,
see you.
So yeah, that person owns the jail. Yeah, yeah, it is expensive. I mean, yeah, they're getting making money, but um, I mean, yeah. So like, you gotta figure. Not only do they have to pay while they're on death row, they have to pay for their meals. They're paying for their clothing. They're paying for their lodging. What's that? Yeah. Oh, we'll call it lodging. Okay. All right. Then they got to take care of their health care. Their
Oh
health.
yeah, they
That
get
means,
free health care.
and here's the thing though. Here's the crazy part about it, y'all. They're in death row. If they start having a heart attack, guess what? They have to save them.
Yep. Or if they have any kind of like, and I'll tell example is I know I've people that I've been friend, well, I family members, whatever you want to, friends, whatever, because I've known him that long. Um, the guy is in. He was always in and out of anyway, but the state paid for his. He had a brain tumor, and the state had to pay for it. I mean, it is the thing is, like I said, they get better anything and everything while they're in prison. They get taken care of.
Hmm.
It's that's why it's just like the system is so messed up with. Okay, yeah, okay, you murdered somebody or you murdered multiple people.
Right.
Here, I'm just going to give you a life behind bars. Literally, you just got to obey these rules. But here, you can have all this. You got all the education in the world that you want. You've got access to a lot of stuff. Like it's just messed up. Like how much they allow them to do, and then even on top of like it never made sense to me because I've spent time in jail, and jail time versus prison is worse than prison is still.
Well, I mean, here's, you know, and the thing is, though, if they're sitting on death row,
Oh
right?
yeah, absolutely,
If
Josh.
they're sitting on death row, like I said, if they have a heart, whatever, they got to save them. They're not allowed to die like that unless they've done everything humanly possible to stop it and save them. All right.
Or they
Then
can, but they can sign a whatever
no,
if they don't want to be.
no, they can't do a DNR.
Okay, yes, they can. Yes, they can. In some states, because I watched a lot of that state, those prison things, and as long as they have signed that whatever DNR whatever, they can.
Now,
But
see, to me,
they have to be right in the right mind to actually sign that to be right.
well, to me, honestly, I mean, well, most of the time they say they have to die by execution when they see fit to have them executed. But honestly, I think seriously, I think if they go on death row, they automatically have a DNR, automatic
I
DNR.
would think so. Yeah, I
Because
would
I mean,
I would agree with you
why
there.
just let them go? I mean, they're gonna die regardless, whether they in or execution. But yeah, they have to sign. And the thing is, though, they don't have to sign the DNR. They automatically get a DNR
Yeah, I agree with you.
because
But that's just you know eh, how they only think because these people have families and whatever. So, but we can go into that execution too, like that too, because of things I have come across in the last couple of years of um, the lethal ingestion. Um, the medication that they're using is or was using um, what's the word? They were using something that was totally off from what they were using before. And this has come across like three different cases. And they didn't kill the person.
oh yeah,
And they have to let them be in prison, sit in prison to die. But they can't execute them again
right now,
because they try to do it like would think about that what those person went through because it's supposed to be not they're not supposed to like be in pain whatever when they do it. I could only imagine that going wrong and you having to watch that.
well, I mean, there's been botched
Well, no,
executions.
I'm saying, well, that's usually gets watched, but like I said, there's been like I think three cases
No,
that
not watched,
happened back to back that in the same prison
not
where
watched.
they tried
I
to
said
execute the
botched.
person and they didn't die.
Right. Yeah, it's a botched
It was the
execution.
no, they were buying come to find out when they were doing the research to
They pretty
save
much
money
do.
to save money, they were buying this whatever shit off the black market and come to find out it wasn't killing the people. So yeah, they were getting they because they can't do that. You can't whatever the word is,
The thing
can't
is that
hurt them and then then think you're going to re-execute them. They couldn't re-execute those people because they already tried and it didn't, so they can't make them go through it again,
uh,
which is messed up.
from what I heard, they used it. They've been using they what they was actually supposed
Right,
to use.
Nate?
Um, what they were supposed to use is basically, I think, is the same stuff that they use for dogs,
Yeah, they use
or
them
not dogs,
whatever.
but animals. Period. Um, but yeah, there's been botched uh executions several times. I mean, even electric chairs have been botched. I mean,
Oh
it
yeah,
didn't go right, and
absolutely,
they
absolutely.
literally had to throw the switch 2 or 3 times because it
Or not
wasn't.
something not right, like the
Hmm.
Texas old Sparky. He really is a. But yeah, I agree with Nate with the pedophiles. Like
Well, actually, they
I don't think
do.
that's. Yeah, I get that they are with this whatever, but if there are multiple pedophile and they have been well known to do, I don't. It's kind of like how why are you going to make them be separate because you know they're going to be harmed
Oh, no, no,
if they
no.
were put in the public, if they were put in the public with the rest of the guys, you know damn well and good they would. Just the same with the females, because females don't tolerate that shit either. But obviously they don't do that as much, or aren't as recognized, if that makes any sense.
Oh no, what they do is they're not supposed to let it leak that they are what they are, but they do. They will tell the
Yeah,
population. They'll tell the population what they are, and 9 times out of 10, no, they're not going to be fighting. I guarantee they're going to be getting killed. They're going to be
yeah.
getting, shanked in the shower, or they're going to be shanked in their cell. But they're not going to. I mean, they might as well
I
just go.
think that's just for me,
Oh,
and I'm just saying for me wise, and I know other people have thought of it too. Is why didn't they put or confine Jeffrey Dahmer until until they did interview with him and for real did all the other stuff with him? Because like, look, it just doesn't make no sense. Like, okay, we're trying to figure out people like that, but you're going to, okay, the guards are going to let, literally that's what happened. His thing is guards turned their head and allowed his cellmate to kill him.
well, yeah. I mean, didn't pretty much like pedophiles and stuff like that. They might as well just go ahead and give them the execution, give them death sentence,
Well,
because
and
that's
that's what
pretty
I'm
much
saying. But like,
you send
to
them to
figure
prison.
out somebody like
They're
that,
already
because
dead.
like people's like, well, you're not going to figure those people out if you let
Mhm.
other people kill them.
Well, honestly, I mean, seriously,
Hi,
if
Karen. Thank you for coming in.
I mean, honestly, if a pedophile, if they, a child molester or whatever you want to call them, honestly, if they get caught and they're sentenced, i- i- if you were in your right mind, which you're probably not most likely, but you would ask the judge to say, "Give me the death sentence," because you pretty much are you when they send you to prison, you got a death sentence because they're going to do it there.
Well, and I think, to be honest, I think that is the
Hey,
reason
Karen, so
why there is so much suicides in prison, because of, like, what's the point of me staying here? I'm, you know,
they're going to kill me. Yeah,
yeah.
they'll kill you.
Well, and
And we
that's
should.
again, I get it, Nate. That's just it. But 9 times out of 10, that serial killer either commits suicide or a somebody else kills them in prison before they're interviewed. Like, I've come across that a couple of different times. Like, before they even get any kind of interview at them, they somebody ends up killing them or they kill themselves. And I like, what happened to doing, keep them, interviewing them to figure out, because as well as I do, like, Jeffrey Dahmer is one of the, like, I want to say, quote unquote, how you would how a serial killer is made, because like he literally went from killing little things, to bugs, to whatever, to frogs, to, and it got gradually got bigger, which is where people don't understand is once a human starts killing a cat and then killing a dog, then it becomes humans. um there just something about when they're able to kill an animal that big, like that gives them control of, like, what if I can kill a dog, I can kill a human. It just kind of like, weird shit with people like that.
God.
Three things that don't hang themselves.
Wow.
Wow, Josh.
Oh, oh. That was definitely a very interesting guy, to
Yeah, yeah. It just
say the
so
least.
much of, he had that accident, and then, like, to think about, maybe if all things weren't, because then he wouldn't have gotten made fun of, because he wouldn't have been in a special needs class, and, turn back time. But there's sometimes it's just, you don't know. And then, like I said, with him kind of being an Aries, the even if he's got that aggressiveness, um which is what he had, the impulse, and then the impulsive, which would have caused him to be like, I'm going to do it now, which really would have triggered what, like it said, that where he got damaged, that's what it was causing. So it makes me think that it intensified that aggressiveness and that impulsiveness. I don't have the impulsiveness like that kind of, but I do. I have had anger issues, so I get that, because for whatever reason, being a fire sign, that is a big thing to be careful with. But I'm an adult, and I've learned how to deal with my anger issues. But I learned at a young age.
I mean, yeah. I mean, one thing is that, like I said, they have learned that there's a lot of pattern. There's a lot of patterns to it. I mean,
I
it's
agree, Nate.
you know, there's like what, three, four key factors into the serial killers, really.
Yeah,
One,
well, yeah, and it's usually some kind, like you said, either one or the other parent's gone,
or they just both parents, lack of both parents, or just don't
or yeah,
care.
or lack of giving a shit about them, which is
Right,
like what I talked about with the pig killer,
right,
because his both of his parents gave more shit about those damn pigs than they did him.
right.
So psychologically, that does damage when it is going to go, when you get into that, when parents don't have part of, because when a child doesn't get that kind of stuff, like between the ages of 1 and 5, and not having that parental, having that those issues, a lot of times kids end up with emotional issues. And it's not, and I know people think it's funny to have daddy issues or mommy issues. It really isn't funny. That's something that they've lost when they were that young, and it does make a difference in most children's lives
Mhm.
without that parent, unless that other parent is very well doing what they do.
Right. And then the next step is bully. They were bullied as a kid.
And most kids nowadays are bullied for one reason or another.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's for instance, I think, besides me, is our kids, our girls. They were on the bigger side, but they're the girls that have big boobs, and whatever. And they were teased always because they got that big of boobs.
What?
And it's like, why do we have to tease kids about this or that, or because they can't afford something with clothes wise, which happens a lot in around here, at least in where I'm from.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. No, and that, I mean, that's what I got back on. Okay, you had to. The thing was, when I was in school at the time, you had to have the Nike shoes, you had to have the starter jackets, or you had to have, and duck head was a big thing at that time. So you had to have duck head clothes. The shorts, your shorts had to be duck head, your t-shirts had to be duck head, um, and all that. That was it. You know. So yeah, I
Mm.
mean, you're bullied, but the big thing, yes, looks, clothes are two big things that you do get bullied and picked on in school, but
Oh yeah, absolutely.
the
And then
it's
we've
your
had
disability
even,
is the best one.
yeah, that too. But I was thinking too, even if they thought around here for a long time, if, well, hey, let's put all these kids in uniform. Okay, but you know what? Even kids that wear uniforms, you can tell what kids are rich and which kids aren't. Still,
Oh
I
yeah,
don't care what you put, because those kids that can't afford are going to buy Walmart brand of the uniforms. And
or
then you've got the parents that have the money are going out to the mall and buying these uniform outfits with that stuff or whatever without
yeah,
you can still tell, or even by their shoes, like what they're wearing.
yeah, e- exactly. So all right, so we got parents, we have bullying, and then another one,
Well, it could be
some
some kind
sort.
some kind of trauma,
Oh yes, another, yeah, trauma, some sort of
some kind of
trauma,
trauma. 9 times out of 10 will, a lot of these killers that I've even went over, some
and
of them, most of them have some kind of issue. Something happened. Something.
if you notice, most of the time it's something that deals with the head. Okay, so we got trauma. Then and the next one is rejection, some form of
Oh yeah, some form of rejection. Yeah,
rejection.
absolutely, absolutely.
Right. That's another thing. So, and then rejection, which, and after rejection, which comes, and it will sync the other two up between the bullying to the rejection, is that power and control
Yeah, and a lot of them do is like you said, because they want that power, and
that they lost.
because somebody else had that power over them. Even if it was sexual abuse, that was
Oh
somebody else
yes,
having a power over them.
yes.
So they want power over someone else.
Well, yeah, definitely. So I mean, but, yep, yep, yep. So,
Hello, Bruce.
yeah. So yeah,
Yeah, that too, Josh. A lot of them are narcissists,
yeah.
because they do want their specific control. And to get away with these murders, a lot of times there is rules, 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 rules. I
Hmm.
mean, it comes down to, even like when I was talking about the toolbox killer, the toy box killer. Look, he made rules for these women. Look, do this, 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 and this, and maybe you'll survive. And look, one of the girls he trusted enough and brought into his house with him and his girlfriend. So as much shit as she went through, she still survived. Yeah, I've known a few myself personally, and I have nothing to do with them. Um, that's Depends on what kind, because there's all kinds of those, but I've come across one personally, only one in my lifetime. And I'll tell you what, that kind of people for me, or that kind of person for me, is very negative, and it was taking a toll on me. I'll just put it that way.
Yep. They'll do it.
It will, yeah. They're them being their narcissistic self caused a lot of negativity with me being in the same home as them, and
Ow.
um, a lot of it was toward me because the jealousy. Yeah, I still don't get that to this day, but whatever. I don't got to deal with her. That's
Yep.
all I gotta say.
Uh, so tell me this. What are you doing next week?
I haven't looked up to who my next person is yet.
Okay, so how long does Aries last? When, have you done Gemini yet, or are you going to do Gemini?
Gemini is my next one, I do believe. Let me go look here. I do believe it is my.
Because I'm curious about Geminis.
I have a list of what my list here.
'Cause that's what I am as a Gemini. So I'm kind of.
Yeah, I kind of figured. My mom's a Gemini too.
I want to.
Actually, you are I am correct. Gemini's will be the next one after I finish Aries, which I just started today with Aries. So that Gemini will be after I do a few of the Aries. I usually do major killers from each one, and then I'll go to Gemini and see where's.
Oh, darn.
And I
Wait,
think
wait.
because I haven't come to Pisces, and I know Nate's a Pisces, and one of worst Pisces serial killers, John Gacy. John Gacy,
Why does that sound familiar?
because he was the clown killer. He was very famous for his shit.
Oh,
Like,
that's the one that he would go to the kids' birthday parties
yep,
and
and he actually had the clown thing that they've done so many different versions and movies with him.
I
Oh
was
yeah,
just
absolutely.
what kind of like it kind of based off of him a little bit
No,
in a way.
no.
I thought it
It's
was.
just a whole nother thing. John Gacy was. Have you ever watched American True Horror Stories?
I
Now,
think so.
one of the stories in there is actually based off of John Gacy, though.
Yeah, I was gonna say
The clown with that way.
I remember seeing a episode on TV about one of them. We don't claim
Right.
Casey.
I don't blame you. Like none of these killers. I'm sure. Like just because they were born in these times, and yeah, you know who wants to claim them. I get that
I tell
because
you,
if I remember correctly, he killed children too. So it wasn't
oh yeah,
just it wasn't just this or that too. So
I would um yeah. I'm looking forward to Gemini though. I wonder who there was some big ones with
well, and
Gemini.
that could be very interesting because I have family that is Gemini, and you know, I get along with you. But like for me being an Aries, I either get along with Geminis or I don't get along with them. Um because I don't know. You're totally different than like most. I just come across cuz my mom is a Gemini, and she's totally like one of the ones that I either get along with, but like I don't with, if that makes any sense.
Well, I wonder if it's because well,
We were trade for
well,
Tomer.
the thing is though, it depends on
Yeah,
which.
Boomy's right. It was an alien.
Yeah, that's true. Um, Trace Thomas. Now, the thing is, though, I wonder if it's also because which twin you deal with.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Are in some people that you just brought me to me too is some people born on the cusp of being in between one sign or the other, but you have to go with what goes best with you. And sometimes, even if we are on that cusp, that you're going to find traits that you are with this one and that one. It's just how it is, and how the moon was when you were born. All that plays into
Well,
um
I think
all
I'm on
that.
the end of the Gemini, aren't I? Or I'm at the beginning of the Gemini.
I'm not sure.
See June 14th.
I'm sort of in the middle. I'm sort of in the middle
So, I wonder,
with mine.
uh,
Hi, Anubis. Been a long time to see.
so I think it's also, because we are twins, and we have, which you have that one side and the other side. And they think that, the one side, you got the one that's good, and the other side, the other twin is the bad one.
Yeah, and it just depends on some situations you can snap and be. And I am sure, like with me with Gemini, the one I've come across is they can be two faced in another sense.
There you
That's
are.
a very good well for Gemini. Gemini's can be very two faced. Um, it
Or
just depends. It depends on the person. Like I said, I don't I never sense that with you, but I've known you for a long time, and you're not like that at all.
no, but we do have a way of, uh, no, one thing I do realize, I do, and some of the other Geminis I do know, but we do have a way of kind of, I would say manipulating, but talking our way into things or getting things. And
Yeah, there's nothing like some people are like that though.
but I've noticed that the Geminis, and my one of my ex's mothers used to say I had a silver tongue because I could do that. I could call up somebody on the phone, a customer service, and I could sit there and I can end up getting free this, free that, free this, and free that.
Actually, Josh, I've actually done a couple of black serial killers, but I don't say their race. I just say their name, but I don't like ever say whatever it's not. Because I have actually done a couple of them through my other ones that I've come across. When I was talking about the ABC killer, obviously that's an African American because he came from Africa. Um,
Well, yeah, but here's the thing though.
but
Now,
that's not only it. I have actually done. There's been actually serial killers here in the United States that was black. It isn't just. I was just saying. I don't usually say the race. I just usually just say their name and say the thing. I don't bring it out unless I say where they're from. Like, obviously, tonight's guy he was from Russia, so obviously he's different. But like I've said, they're from or they're Asian or whatever. But like, I haven't like flat out said that, but I have come across multiple
well,
of
here's the one
them. I
thing.
just don't say their race. I just
Uh,
don't. It's
well, here's one thing though, Rain. You said one thing you got, but you kind of you don't. Just because he's from Africa doesn't mean he's not white.
right. But he
South
was, but
Africans are
he
actually
actually
white.
I know that. But yeah, he was the ABC killer was yeah one
Um,
that I just recently did. Yeah, he was.
hmm.
And then I was like, there's another one that the sniper in Washington, the sniper that the Washington sniper dude.
Is that the one that
That
would get in the trunk of the car and shoot out the back of the trunk?
I think so, and that was the colored guy. It
It was
is.
him and his
It's like I've
son that
come
did
across,
that.
and there was because there was in look in the there was that black woman that I did who was a wrestler, and they were looking for a transvestite because of how big she was. So they assumed it was a guy dressing as a female.
Yep. So
And it
that's what you
wasn't.
get
It
for
was a female. It was a wrestler.
a pause. Is a pause no matter where they come from?
A piece of shit is no matter what. Yes, that's what he's
Oh,
saying. Piece of shit. I know Boomy's
Uh,
writing.
well,
I've been
no,
with him long enough. I
I
knew what he was saying.
it's just no, it's just been one of them.
Exactly.
It's been one
Piece
of
of
them.
shit is a piece of shit from no matter where they come from. Exactly.
Um, yeah, it's just been one of them days, and I should have known that.
Yeah, Anubis, she was. But like I said, it was just they're all the different races, but like I don't just out say because they're this or this.
Well, that
I've
is
never been like that. I have family of every.
well. No, see, that's now. That's the thing though. That yes, it would be interesting to study the different social patterns with the serial killers. Yes, I think so because I think well the thing is though one other thing that I did not bring up that does fit the pattern that has a lot of patterns, but is also the social bringing up of like the economics of where they're at.
Yeah.
Whether they were they very poor, were they middle class, or were they rich? Or did they have money, or were they very
I'll be right back.
had
I'm
money?
listening to you.
Did they have money at one point and now they became middle class to poor? It's a lot of that. So there's a lot of things that I think it does need to be studied at, especially I think the social economics of the person. Um, you know, oh wow, well, I think I knew.
Wow.
I think I knew one person.
Interesting, Anubis. Maybe if you would like or to come up on panel one of these times and actually maybe obviously not give his name or whatever if you don't feel comfortable or whatever, but like talk about the situation or found tell us what you found with it if that makes any sense. Well, there's all kind like there is no race that hasn't. I'll just put it that way.
No.
There's in females too because a lot of people's like, well, females are not serial killers, but there is.
Oh no.
There's some famous serial killers, but I haven't done a lot of because I want to when I do all I want to for real do a for real search on women serial killers that have been well known.
Well,
um
I can't remember her name, but there was like a Black Widow.
oh yeah, there
They
well
called
and
her a Black Widow. She would
then
literally marry him, kill him,
yeah, there's
and
a
get the
lot of
inheritance.
women like that. And
Yeah.
then you've got that woman, I forget what her name is, but she's famous and she's infamous for being because she would kill the guys whatever and it's she's been well known but she was hurt by a guy and then she started the guys would do shit to her and she would kill them. So she
Wait a minute.
wasn't taking their shit and she ended up killing them.
Was she like a really old? Was this like a long, long time ago?
No, it
Uh,
wasn't like I mean, it was still like I would think in the 90s. I
oh, okay.
have to find out what her name was because people have went to the last place that she's been, the hotel that she's been. I want to say Patty. A lot of the people different. There's been different that have went there to the last place she was at and whatnot to. Yes, you got it, Nubis. See, Nubis, I like you being around because you know what I'm talking about. You're right. It's Eileen Wormus, whatever how you pronounce her name. Yes, that is her. But yeah, she's very well known for being a serial killer for all that. Yes. Yep, and that's who I was talking about. See, Anubis knows who I was talking about. Yeah, it's been a good night. And I thank you for coming up here.
Oh, you're welcome.
I enjoy
Just
I
love it.
enjoy I enjoy having your company up here when we're talking and having somebody else to conversate with.
I enjoy it. I learn. I
Is
learn.
Joker going live tonight?
I have
Because I was just wondering that, and nobody said anything,
I
but I'm
don't
not
think
sure if he
s
is or not.
I don't think so. I mean, well, it's 10 till, and no, I don't know. I don't think so.
That's what I'm thinking. I don't think so either, but
No, because I was gonna say, because anyways.
yes, yes. I
So
know you all should be looking forward to because I get stuff working, and I know us, the lady villains will be doing um, a show at least once a week with on Kick eventually.
since everybody's feeling good right
Yeah,
now,
I know,
a
right?
lot,
It's just it seems one thing if it's not one thing, it's always
well,
another here lately.
a lot of bugs are going around right now. Right now, it's
Yes,
a
absolutely. Well, and it's that time of year when it's cold. For some reason, that's when everything
or
sides to.
well, that, and it's like here, you go cool, cold to hot, to warm to back to cold. It's, it's yeah, makes a mess.
Oh,
So you
Anubis
did
said you
say,
might be talking about Bella Gunnis.
like,
Boomy put
she was
because I'm not sure if he's going live tonight, but if he does, he'll be going live in like 5 minutes. He usually goes live at 9.
9 minutes. It's 8:51. Um,
Yeah, there you go. About
Malagas,
9 minutes.
is that the one I was talking about? The one I was thinking the one a long, long time ago. She was the first woman to be executed because of murder.
Actually, I have that, and I forget what her name is. I'll look that up too because I've had that down before too. The very first woman who was actually um a thing when, and she was on an electric chair. I remember
Well,
that.
actually, the very first woman to be executed was actually hung. And
Okay, yeah, the hung. Yeah,
then you had the
and that's a
first
witch.
female to
That was not the witch. What that would have been.
well, I mean, not a witch. No, I'm talking about she was actually hung. It was like in the late
Ooh,
1800s and 1900s. Um, she was hung for murdering, for murder,
gotcha.
and then you have the one that was executed by
Nah,
an
Josh,
electric chair.
you would be great. You would fit right in, Josh. I think that this is something that like it come because like I said, my mom used to always say, "You're sick," because like I think I want to say 10 or 11, and I always used to go to the video store when we used to have VHS tapes,
Mhm.
and when I was roughly that age, I really got into I started the different faces, and I ended up getting the set watching all of the movies of Faces of Death. My mom was like, "You're sick." I I don't know. It's been that way since I was young. Of like there different ways of dying, or being. I mean, anything and everything you can think of. There was even ones that come to mind that people don't think of was there was a weightlifter who literally died because his intestines came out his ass
Wow.
because he was lifting too much.
Wow.
And I'm like, how much
Oh
that would be,
yeah.
how painful that would be.
Oh, I was gonna say yes. There was actually a picture of it. I
Oh
think
yeah,
you
there
did.
is. There's an actual picture of it, and when they did the autopsy, they were like, he put too much. There was too much pressure of literally he just literally it shit himself, literally shit himself to death, literally. Like it wasn't shit, he was shitting his intestines. Like it was,
Yeah.
I could only imagine
He
because
blew them out.
it
Ugh.
was a live competition thing, and that happened. Cook his meat kick is more streaming friendly than yeah, absolutely, Boomy. I did that one, Anubis. I did that Elizabeth Bethany. I have done her. I actually for whatever zodiac sign, I actually did her.
So, who'd you say was next week's?
I haven't looked up who I'm doing yet. I can actually go through my thing and find it again here. We'll see if I can,
Oh, that's okay. We can find.
because it's usually look. I usually go through my ranker, and right actually, actually number one right now. They've actually got a female as number one for a, and I don't think I'm going to do her. I think I'm going to wait.
Okay.
And
Well then,
then, oh, somebody's born on my birthday. He's Richard Kuklinski, and he's known as the Iceman.
ooh. Okay, that's interesting.
Well, I think I'm going to do him next. He was also born. He shares my birthday, April 11th, but he
Sounds
was born
almost
in 1935.
sounds like he's Russian.
That's what I'm thinking too. Like I am not like it doesn't say. Oh nope, he was born in New Jersey, and he's a mafia. There's a mafia killer.
Ooh, that sounds cool. Okay, cool. That sounds good. So that's next week. All right.
Steroids versus hemorrhoids, right, Josh?
Oh Lord. Oh Lord.
Yep, that's what I just said. Yep, he's from New Jersey, and he was a mafia. Literally, apparently, he froze his. He was an ice. He was considered the Iceman. He was contracted to kill. Contracted to kill who worked for various mafia families.
And let me guess, he actually made bullets with ice.
Huh?
Let me guess, he made bullets with ice. Made
No,
ice bullets.
he actually froze his victims.
Okay, yeah, that sounds interesting. So
Yeah, I know. I was like, oh, that's going to be interesting for next week.
I like mafia stuff.
Yeah, and I guess he's in a lot of his biggest thing is because he got received a life sentence for killing two gang members and two associates. Later received 30 more years for murder.
Hmm.
All right.
Yeah, I like
Welcome back, Foxy.
boxing. Foxy, do you know Joker's supposed to be going live or anything? Right.
Yeah, I was just going to ask, Foxy, do you know?
Um,
Boomy did put his link or his thing for a kick if you all done.
the mafia. I like the mafia. I just found out. I found not long. Found out not too long ago. Um. Uh.
Ice
Ice
bullets
bullets don't
don't work.
work. Yeah. So, anyways. Okay. So tomorrow they're having a great. Foxy's having a live
Ooh,
tomorrow.
Foxy says we're having a live on hers tomorrow.
Okay. Okay.
Definitely check out Foxy.
Yep. But yeah, I found out one of my family members back in the day. Uh. Back in the day was uh in the mafia.
Hey, Willa.
They
All
work.
right.
They work
Well,
for a family.
yes. Well, thank you everyone for coming and showing up, and interesting as always when I have someone else up here to talk to about getting the interest of different things that are coming out about different killers and what
Yes, Foxy.
makes them tick sometimes makes you wonder. Okay, Foxy. Um, but thank you everyone for showing up, and we'll see about this Iceman killer for next Thursday.
That sounds interesting. I'm
So
looking
I
forward
hope
to it.
everyone enjoys.
All right, cool. Y'all have a good one.
Good evening, everyone.
Ow.
Let's see if I get it.